This is called You Can Be Rich. It's a true story in the book Little Talks with Jesus. The Bible says, if a man love me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him. Once upon a time there was a very rich man who was lonely. His wife had died, leaving him and his 6-year-old son Kenny alone. The little boy missed his mother terribly, as you would too. So the man hired a housekeeper to take care of the mansion and the little boy. Miss Tyler, the housekeeper, had never been married. She had no children of her own, so she enjoyed caring for the little boy. Every morning when she arrived, she laid out his clothes for him so he could get dressed while she made breakfast. Together they would clean up the kitchen and the other rooms in the house, and then they would have time for playing together. There was lots of places to play. Sometimes they watched the big goldfish in the fish pond outside, or they walked under the tall trees in the garden and climbed into the secret hiding places that Kenny knew of behind the bushes. One day when he was 12, Kenny became very sick. His father stayed home from work to be with him, even though Miss Tyler was there too, with the doctor. Kenny had a high fever and laid still in his big bed, the hair around his face wet with sweat. Nothing they did brought his fever down, and after several days, Kenny died. His father was so sad about losing Kenny's mother and then his son that he couldn't eat, and he himself became sick and died a few months later. He died of sadness. Nobody could find any instructions about what to do with the man's mansion and all of his money. Usually, when somebody dies, he leaves a special paper called a will that says who should get his belongings, but this man didn't leave a will. Since he had no relatives either, the state government decided to sell all his things and use the money for roads and other projects. Several days before the sale was to start, Miss Tyler talked to the man in charge and asked if she could have the one picture of Kenny that hung in the hall, the main picture of the little boy. "I reckon you can," the man replied. "It's probably not worth anything to anybody else." So Miss Tyler bought the picture for just a few cents and took it home. She started taking the picture frame apart so she could clean it, and as she lifted the picture from the back of the frame, a paper fell out. It was Kenny's father's will. The will gave instructions that anyone who loved Kenny enough to want his picture should be the one who gets the mansion and all of his money. Miss Tyler hurried back to the man in charge of the sale. "Stop the sale," she cried. "This house is not for sale. It is mine." If we love Christ, the riches of heaven will someday be ours. God has promised unto everyone who loves his Son, Jesus. It's a really nice story about a woman that came across a house. The point of that story is she loved, even though she didn't have to.